Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video on my YouTube channel, mathijsmerksracing. And in this video I will travel to the UK to do two very special things. The first one is that I will do real car racing for the first time within the Palmer Sport experience. And this is not like an experience where you have to drive behind each other and can't push or overtake. No, this is a real experience where you can overtake and the instructors are very keen to let you push yourself to the absolute limit. Also, I will participate in the most fierce and world-known rental kart competition there is, Club 100 for Motorsport UK. And it's on a very legendary track where a lot of big stars have started their racing career. As you see, I finally arrived at Cambridge after a very long trip with the car, the boat and again with the car. Tomorrow it's time for the Palmer Sport experience. Very excited to do car racing for the first time, so let's go! So, going to the first real race car, Ginetta G56 GTA, basically a GT4 car. Going through the gears and going on the brakes really gave you the feeling of GT racing. I had no assist from the instructor, leading to a P15 out of the 26 drivers, not that great. Next up, Jaguar JP-LM, basically a prototype car, where you really had to trust the aerodynamics of the car. And I did, because this was better suited for me as a racing driver. Ended in a P2 out of the 26 drivers, again with no assist from the instructors. And then it was time for the big finale, the F3000 single seater, where I have the POV footage from. So let's see how I did. So, not your ideal start to a stint, as I was facing the wrong direction there. After 2 laps of warming up the brakes and the tires, I thought I could push a little harder. But the throttle pedal was so sensitive and the tires were in such a bad condition that I spun around and turned off the electric systems. So I had to wait on track for at least 2 minutes to get that running again. After that it was time to warm up the brakes and the tires again. And the lap time would not be great, as I was already running like a 4 minutes lap, where you can do like a 120 easily. So yeah, not ideal. Going into the next lap I was a lot more careful, as you can only spin the car once without getting off track, because the second time you spin you will get black flag and that would end your experience. So I would build in a little margin for myself, that I would not spin with some crazy oversteer or anything, because I wanted to optimize this experience and to learn as much as possible. As you see, the tires are in a pretty damn bad condition, with a lot of graining on at least both front tires, as I couldn't see the rear tires. When applying the brake heavy, as you see, the back end wanted to step out and I could get no rotation in whatsoever, as this would increase the graining. Going into a slow corner as a hairpin, I want to show you that the most slight throttle pedal input down in the right corner would lead to instantly a big snap of oversteer. So yeah, I knew that I had to be careful. Within the fast corners you could really send it, as the aerodynamics will do their part and you could really feel that through the car. So the benchmark is set and now it was time to push or not, as this session would be red flagged, as another driver had parked their car within the gravel and you couldn't get out, and that would mean that your experience was over. So going in, I waved to the cameraman on the right moment and he took this badass picture of me. So after a brief stop it was time for stint 2, as the driver that had been gone into the gravel had been towed away. So I was very happy here, as I didn't disengage the clutch or anything, as that's a massive win moment for me, I think for every racing driver. So back on track, warm up the tires and the brakes again and try to set some push lap, as I have only set a benchmark and time is running out. I overtake some slower drivers on the right, as you see, to give myself some clean air, some clean spot to get those push laps in, as I don't want to be held up into traffic or anything. So, and if you think your luck can't get any worse, there was some light rain incoming, some drizzle, as the clouds above the circuit would get worse and worse. I hoped that the rain wouldn't continue, as that would ruin my last push laps. Going through this fast chicane, I had a massive snap of oversteer and already felt that the rain had some impact on the car's behavior. So I kept some margin because I didn't want to spin around and ruin my last push laps. Really frustrating moment on track, as I really wanted to push within this last laps, but yeah, that's racing, I guess. So I learned a lot within this racing and driving experience, because it's very different than karting. They're both extremely different, as within karting you don't have a differential, you want the back end to turn around as quick as possible, be smooth, but yeah, turn it, use slip angle to your advantage. But in these kinds of race cars you don't want to do that, as you want to let the differential do their work, brake in a straight line and coast a little. So I was too aggressive on the brakes, especially within corner entry, and that meant that there was a lot of oversteer within the cars I drove, and I really had to adapt fast to be quick within these race cars and on this circuit. So I learned a lot, especially the difference between karting and a race car, as I said. So very good experience. I hope to be a little quicker, but within all the traffic I had and the little drizzle on track, and with that unfortunate spinning moment for me in the beginning of stint 1, I think I did alright, and I was very happy and pleased with the results. Let's do a speed comparison. The red line is me, the blue line is the pro. But who is the pro? The pro is none other than Jolyon Palmer, former Formula 1 racing driver for both Lotus and Renault. So let's see how the both of us did and what was different. So let's start my best hot lap. So, back to the original hot lap, as I brake for turn 1, and this is alright, as it's about the same as the pro. The exit speed is similar to the pro, this is due to a very sensitive throttle pedal. How do I know? Yeah, remember how stint 1 started? I was too greedy after properly warm up the brakes and the tires, so more was not possible, at least not on these tires. So the speed comparison for turn 2, as I again brake too early, get speed out of the car too fast, as in the middle of the double chicane I come on top with 105 km per hour, but the pro did 115. This means a difference of at least 10 km per hour. Reason was me too early of throttle and coasting too much. This corner, as I said, mainly about sending it and see where the car would break out on the back end. But I prioritized my exit speed, and within this next follow-up of corners I would match the speed of the pro. As you see, very narrow to the white line on the left, then cross over to the right narrow line on the right, as the top end is 157 km per hour, where the pro did around 160 km per hour. So this matched each other. Next corner, slow chicane, but I brake before the braking sign, which meant that I lost some time there. I didn't brake too hard or get the speed out of the car too much. I was just too early. Within the second sector I just broke too early everywhere, but the drizzle didn't help, as the hot lap of the pro was within perfect conditions, and I think on better tires. As the speed graph shows, within the slow hairpin on the back end of the circuit, I did around the same, so my braking was alright, I just broke too early everywhere within sector 2. The next fast chicane, again mainly about sending it, see where the horizontal grip would give up, but I was too slow back on the throttle pedal as the Pro did accelerate much earlier than I did, but I had a massive oversteer moment there, and that could cause the problem as well, as not going back on the throttle pedal too early would not help my case with some oversteer. And then to the last sector, I did not carry enough speed through the corners. I was coasting too long, didn't use the track width to my advantage. As you see, my cornering line is good enough, but I leave a lot of space on the right that could be used. And if I use that, I could carry more speed within that corner. Next corner, about the same, still not fast enough through the last corner, as this would really hurt my lap time, as it was the reason when crossing start finish that I did not carry enough speed. As you know, I did 166 and the Pro did 183. This was the reason for that. At the end it was P4 out of the 26 with no assist from the instructors, but the other drivers had no instructors as well. But I did win something. There was also a Sodi GT5 kart competition. Easy. And as I did a lot of Sodi GT5 karting, I won that competition. Yeah, this remembered me about how much I love racing. I can truly say this is the best track day experience in the world. And as Martin Brundle says, Palmer Sport, nothing else come close. So the next day it was time to travel again, as I was going to Rochester for some Club 100 karting, as I really like the platform. So I drove to Rochester, and then you think, but in Rochester there's no big karting track. Hold up, wait and see on which legendary kart track I will race. So I arrived at the beautiful Buckmore Park, a legendary Buckmore Park, where a lot of great stars have started their karting and racing career, like Lewis Hamilton, Jenson Button and Jolyon Palmer. And today I'm here to participate within Club 100. It's on my list for at least 2 years now, as I watched it a lot on YouTube. I really like the platform. So today I participate within the lightweight experience, and let's see what I can do. First time for the kart and the track. So, Club 100 from Motorsport UK. It features a Club 100 senior kart with a Birolard N35X chassis and a Rotex Max Junior engine on top of it. Also it has Dunlop KA1 tires. I'm not familiar with any of this combination, so I have to figure out a lot on the kart, but also on the circuit, as I've never driven it. I know that there are 4 very good overtaking opportunities, especially within the first 2 hairpins, but also on the back end of the circuit with Paddock and Garda. They are so legendary, and I'm very keen on driving it for the first time. My qualifying was not that great, P21 out of the 35 drivers, as I had to figure out a lot, as I said earlier, and I'd also come in to adjust the seating, as it was not fit me right. I entered the lightweight class, but the middleweight class has suited me better, but it was fully booked, so I had to do the lightweight class, as this was the most popular round on the calendar, Buckmore Park. It is a legendary track, and every driver wants to race there, especially within Club 100. So let's see if I can fight my way forward within race 1. So I get brake checked at the start of the race. Not ideal, as I lose a lot of positions on the outside, because the outside line is always faster, especially at the start, but the inside is more safe. As the next corner is to the right, so that's lucky for me, as I really sanded over the curb, and that let me make up any position that I lost at the start. I won even 2 positions, so that's great. Now I'm behind the driver with the green helmet again, and I was really keen on catching him and overtake him, as Paddock on the start of the race is a really great opportunity, and I'm sending it on the inside, and I make up another position, so that is 2 positions gained and 4 in total on the first lap. So that's great. So after a great opening lap and making up some positions, I caught up to the group in front, as I want to go to the inside as I have a better exit, but I get squeezed because the driver in front just moves within the braking zone. I almost hit the driver in front, that almost ended my race, but fortunately I didn't hit him. So I also get pushed wide, almost onto the grass. I could have expected this hard driving, as it's the most fierce rental karting competition within the world, but now let's see if I can show him how clean overtaking is done. So here I got in an unfortunate situation, as I'm clearly quicker than any of those drivers, but I didn't choose my position very well. I thought I would go to the inside and cross under the driver in front, but instead I got overtaken on the outside, as that line was a little faster. So let's get these positions back as soon as possible and show that I'm the quicker driver. So I have a good exit and I'm going to the inside on Garda. It's like 3 right, and I made the move stick, but one driver caught by, as it was just, the acceleration was just different, as I was just too heavy, so I couldn't make the move stick. So nothing happens this lap, so let's fast forward to the action and let's see if I can overtake the driver in front, because I have to do it quick. Fighting cost so much time. These tires were just so bad. It understeered like crazy, especially within the faster corners. So I could catch up to the 2 drivers in front, and I really need to overtake them as soon as possible. So I want to make the move here again on the inside, and the driver didn't see it coming. I really sent it down to the inside, but it's a clean move, as I wanted to show him how clean overtaking was done. So I did just that. So let's see if I can overtake the driver in front as well. So after 10 laps of following the driver in front, I finally caught up to some more drivers in front, and it was pretty clear that my pace and the pace of the driver in front of me was better than the group we caught up to. So I hoped that the driver in front would make some moves quick and that I could follow him through. So this was pretty weird as I wanted to switch back, but the engine in some sort of way just bugged, so I couldn't get the switch back. Pretty frustrating. So I thought, if I'm close enough, let's try it into paddock, and I got one of the best overtakes of this race. It was just so clean. So this is racing for me, as the driver in front was going for a move, then I close up and I attack the driver in front as I hope to profit from it. A double switchback going on to the inside, the driver holds on the outside line and keeps the position. It's hard but fair fighting, and that's what it's all about. So I try to hold on the outside line, as I thought it was quicker, but I get overtaken instead. That didn't go to plan. It was the worst corner for me within the whole circuit, turn 1. I couldn't get it right, I understeered like crazy, even when using slip angle, and tried to aggressively get the back end to slide a little, like a little power slide. It did not work, and I thought it was mainly because I was too heavy, especially after watching the middleweight drivers and their sector times. It was pretty clear that it would come due to my weight. So that driver turned left within a right-hander. Not ideal if you ask me, but it gives me the opportunity to overtake the driver in front again, and I did just that. That's P13 out of the 35, and let's skip to the end of the race to see if I can hold the position. And I can, as my pace was good enough to even hold the position, but also to cut up a little for P12. But it was too late within the race, as the start-finish line is already within sight. So it would be a P13 out of the 35 drivers, but a P12 as one driver got an engine failure. Or not P12, as I apparently broke formation too early and get a 2-place penalty. This is what happened. I tried that I could cross after start finish line, but apparently I can't break formation before turn 2. So in the end, this would lead me to a P14 out of the 35 finish. So, on to race 2. And race 2 did not start very well, as the engine kept misfiring. Apparently the spark plug was not connected properly, and this hero of mechanics saw it just on time for me to head out and to compete with the other drivers. So this formation lap would turn into a qualifying lap, as I had to overtake all these drivers on the left to find my original starting position. The starting position was not based on the result from the previous heat, but on the fastest lap within that heat. My overall pace was great, as I did not do any stupid or crazy things, but my raw pace was lacking a little. Which meant I could not start in P14, but I had to start within P20. Yeah, I didn't set the rules, but it was definitely not ideal. As I am going to the left, as I want to overtake all these drivers, as I need to be fast, because the last marker to break formation and get yourself to your original starting position is just on the left in a few seconds, so I just made it in time. I'm bumping the driver in front on purpose, definitely not happy with it, as he shows hands, but I don't care, as I want to create a gap that I can anticipate on if something happens within the first few corners, and I want to drive my own lines as nobody can move into that gap, as I found out the last heat. As I get a massive shunt from behind, as somebody does not know where his brake pedal is or just uses me as a brake. Yeah, absolute chaos within the opening few turns, but I absolutely love it. So, I move up a place, only one place, but I want more within this opening lap. And I know there is more possible within paddock and Garda. So let's send it on the inside and see how it works out as I move up another place. So there's already 2 places gained within this opening lap. And let's move forward, as that's what I want to do. So, at the beginning of lap 2, a lot of drivers within like 10 meters of each other, as there's a yellow shown on the left, but yeah, apparently no one saw it, and a green shown on the right, as I don't want to hit anyone, as that will lead to the engine bog down and me losing positions, but that's not the case, as I'm sending it down the inside and gain like 4 places in total. So let's skip to further in the race, as nothing really happened. So after a while I catched up to this driver, and this driver was significantly slower. This bump wasn't on purpose, but it gives me the chance to go under and move up a place. So now it's time to catch up to the drivers in front and stick within slipstream, as everyone is working together on this point, as it's a long race to go. It's only lap 6. I want to stick within their group, as it will increase my chance of a top 10 finish. So, the overtake was definitely not clean enough, as I give back the position on purpose. If an overtake is not clean enough, in my opinion, I just give it back. Otherwise, what's the purpose of racing, right? So, my frustrating moment on the track, as I hit the barrier and I was just so mad on myself. I didn't know what happened, as the tires just gripped up a lot more than in previous lap and the previous heat, and I was just so overwhelmed with it that I hit the barrier as another driver is going through, so it loses me only 1 position. But definitely not ideal, as this you can't do within owner karting, as you will just break something. So I was just very angry on myself, as I can't afford myself these mistakes. I learned from it, as the grip on that part of the tarmac was just way better, but it was the smaller lines, so I didn't want to use it anymore. But it was just so weird. So, as I lose a position for not being aware enough to the driver in front, I will lose another position to the driver behind, as my pace was just lacking and not fast enough to hold on to my position, let alone to go for the top 10 finish, as that was the goal. So let's skip to further in the race, as nothing really happened and I lost touch. So that was, that meant that my pace was definitely not fast enough for that top 10 finish. So let's skip further to the end of the race, as I drove in no man's land from then on, and it's the last time through Paddock and Garda, the most famous corners within the UK, and I just enjoyed it so much. It was a great circuit, a great class to race in. Club 100 is definitely one of the best and most high rental kart competitions in the world for sure. At the end it was a P14 finish out of the 35 drivers, as 2 drivers got penalties for track limits.
I'm going to run from 15th place in each class, so we're starting with our lightweights today. In 15th place was Matty Merks.
So, new on the channel, food review. So basically I will order something random on every circuit / track and I will give it a score between 1 and 10. Starting off with this classic combination of a burger with fries and a coke, and I'll get an 8.2. Great score. But the burger could be seasoned better and I would prefer a glass with ice cubes, as it was a very, very hot day. So after this and at the end of the day, it was time to explore Buckmore Park. Starting with this classic overview when the middleweights and the heavyweights were racing on track. So after this I would show Britain's first kart, as it's so great to see how far karting has go. Then it was time to travel back to the Netherlands and leave Buckmore Park behind. And the same applies for this video, as I want to thank everybody and especially you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like and leave a comment down below. And I'll see you next time. Bye!